we haven't played a clip of Donald Trump in a long time, I don't think. And he's obviously, he's back. He's running. He's looking a little disheveled in this one, I got to say. Not having a great hair day for him. And
How dare you?
That's just about everything. But he was on a couple of weeks ago, Moms for America, which is a group, not to be confused with Liberty Moms, right?
Moms for Liberty.
Moms for Liberty. Moms for Liberty, who's the co-founder recently, who's been essential in attempting to, get stuff like Don't Say Gay passed in Florida and ban books that were too sexy. She's caught up in a throuple relationship where the woman that she was involved with, apparently you can be bi if you're doing it with your husband. That's not too sexy for things. But apparently her husband attempted to rape or raped the third woman in their throuple. Anyways, this is Moms for America. It's a different
Sure.
thing. And this is so fantastic because they're setting him up again. Remember, Donald Trump was able to mobilize the Christian fundamentalist vote, despite the fact that he wasn't terribly pious himself, but because they knew that he was going to do his bidding. But he still had to sort of pretend, right? Remember he said, like, the Bible's my favorite book after my own book?
Right. What's your favorite passage? All of them
are so good. But here they're setting him up for this again. Like, what inspires you? Say something that's going to really touch our hearts. Because what you're doing, Mr. President, where do you get the inspiration? And he's going to explain.
It's amazing.
How do you do this? Where do you draw your strength from? We're talking about faith. How do you do this every day? How do you get up and fight for every single one of us?
It's probably the biggest question I get. The second biggest would be, they're not going to be allowed to do it again. Okay, you know what that means. Okay, that's number two. But number one is...
Pause it for 1 second. Pause for 1 second. Let's go back.
It's a declarative statement.
Back. Well, understand. I just want to be you to understand. They're not going to do it again. They're not going to steal the election. That's just in case you're confused. Because I don't want you to get distracted. I don't want you to hear... She's talking about faith, she says. Where does he get, what gives, what
motivates him?
What motivates him? Good.
How do you do this? Where do you draw your strength from? We're talking about faith. How do you do this every day?
We're talking about faith, Mr. President. So I just want to give you a little clue.
Probably the biggest question I get. The second biggest would be, they're not going to be allowed to do it again. Okay, you know what that means. Okay, that's number two. But number one is, how do you do it? One of the reasons is that I have the highest poll numbers people have virtually ever seen. You're beating...
Wait, hold on. Pause for a sec. Because maybe...
Bravo.
His poll numbers are so high that they're like, how in the Bible, I forget which, I'm not religious, so I don't really know what it is. But like they build the tower to get, the Tower of Babel, to get as close to God. Trump's doing that with his poll numbers.
I stack all my poll numbers on the ground and I climb up and I touch God. Mm-hmm. That's the way I do it.
That's how he gets closer to God, the higher the poll numbers.
But she even said we're talking about faith here. Like she's trying to set this up.
Yeah.
Is there any more after he says the poll number?
Yeah. For every single one of us.
It's probably the biggest question I get. The second biggest would be, they're not going to be allowed to do it again. Okay, you know what?
But in a question
that's
form.
Number two.
In a question form.
One is, how do you do it? One of the reasons is that I have the highest poll numbers people have virtually ever seen. You're beating these people by 60 points, and we're beating by a lot. And that gives us hope, because if we take over the country from the standpoint of winning the election of 2024, it's all going to be okay. We're going to make it, not only make America great again, we're going to make it better than ever before. And we're going to get rid of the horrible people, some of these people, from prisons, from mental institutions. They're coming in from prisons, mental institutions, and many terrorists. We're going to get them out. It's going to be a mass deportation and get them out. And we're getting them back to their countries where they came from. Mm-hmm. Many of them right out of jails and prisons. So if we win this election, which we have to, I don't think we have a choice.
Right.
we're going to make our country great again, and maybe better than ever before.
And safe.
And
Safe. Oh. He gets his strength from poll numbers.
I love the measured, almost kind of like breathy tones of her reaction while he's literally like, we are going to deport thousands of people forcibly. All criminals.
God.
Yes.
It's like, yes, of course. For our family.
I think if we got terrorists, we should probably also, maybe might want to, I don't know, put them in jail.
No, not just
sure.
deport them.
I don't know.
Well, who cares? Let him do it over
I've
there.
got the secret information about all the terrorists. I'm not going to give it up unless I win. If I don't win, then I don't care.
What's funny too is like we, I guess a few weeks ago.
Ask me how I know about all the terrorists.
How do you know about the terrorists?
Poll numbers.
Ooh.
I've got great poll numbers. That's how I know.
Moms for Liberty and those groups are not doing so hot. They thought that they were going to be able to overwhelm these school board elections, and they did not win very many of them, which was
They had bad poll numbers.
yeah, they had bad polling.
I got good poll numbers.
So I guess she'll take whatever answer she can get there.
Left or bereft? I hope no one trips over the mountain of evidence against Joe Biden. Not. So I don't have to pay back my loans anymore. Okay, good to know. I won't pay the money I owe my parents because James Comer says so. My brain hurts. This cat drunk? Fizzy drinks. Joe Biden picked up a dime on the sidewalk across the street from a Chinese restaurant. The evidence mounts. You're not going to let women talk, Sam? I thought that was sacrosanct in your party. What's that from?
I don't know.
That's what Tom Cotton said yesterday at the
Oh, yeah.
the confirmation.
Catfish James. Sam, you don't understand the appeal of a Ford Raptor. First, cool name. Reminds me of Jurassic Park. Secondly, truck go fast. It does go very fast. Dan from Missouri. Every
Why
Republican.
would you just get a fast, small car? I guess that means your penis is small.
I don't know. If you get a fast, small car,
I mean, the truck means I'm man. I'm big man.
every Republican bringing up the Biden crime family business connections to China should immediately be asked about Trump's business connections with Russia. Ignoring the whole Russia puppet controversy, the amounts of money Trump and his family received from Russia dwarf these numbers. They're freaking out. Well, but that's the point, right? That's exactly 100% the point. Because then it just becomes a back and forth, and the issue is essentially nullified. That is exactly why they came up with the crime, the Biden crime family, is because they don't want to talk about Jared Kushner. They don't want to talk about Ivanka Trump. It's all right out there. And the point is, then for your average voter, it just becomes like, well, they say this, they say that, and it goes back and forth, and it's a wash. And that's exactly what it's all about. So there's no, as a political matter, there's no, you're not going to get very far with talking about the Trump family's corruption. That's just that's handled as a court case, at least in New York. But as a political matter, it's just the water's muddied. They successfully are able to, make it a he said, she said type of a situation. But I think as a political matter, when they start going with impeachment and things become embarrassing and fall apart, that's where it's going to make a difference. Because if you're Mike Lawler, you don't want to be voting for impeachment. You don't want to have to do that.
Right.
But you also can't not vote for impeachment, because then you'll lose like your Republican voters in that district or something like that. So I say let's get these hearings going.
And have they taken up Hunter's offer to testify? No,
they rejected it immediately on that day.
So
they don't want him testifying in public first.
That's so odd. And
you weren't here that day. We played clips of one of a former NFL sideline reporter where she was on Fox.
Michelle Tafoya.
I knew it was Michelle Tafoya. I was literally about to say Michelle Tafoya.
Saying, I think you learn more in the closed door sessions. And we were all like, how do you know?
Yeah, this is her new career now. And also his top associate was also testified behind closed doors.
Yep. Jer and Philly, well, now they're identifying the real scandal, the Bank of Biden scandal. It reminds me of my favorite line from True Detective Season 2. These contracts, they have signatures all over them.